Welcome to Coin Discovery USA, the place where everyday pocket change can turn into an incredible treasure story. And today we are diving into one of the most fascinating possibilities in the world of modern coin collecting, the mysterious and extremely valuable 1986 Lincoln 1 cent that collectors believe could reach astonishing values close to $20 million under the right conditions. And while that number may sound unbelievable at first, the truth is that the world of numismatics is filled with surprising discoveries where a tiny detail on a coin transforms an ordinary 1-cent piece into a collector's dream. And the 1986 Lincoln cent is a perfect example of how minting mistakes, production anomalies, rare die varieties, and exceptional preservation can combine to create extraordinary value in a coin that millions of people once handled without giving it a second thought. Because during the mid-1980s the United States Mint was producing enormous quantities of Lincoln cents for circulation, and most of them entered everyday commerce as simple pocket change. But within those millions of coins there were small numbers that experienced unusual events during the minting process. And those events are exactly what collectors search for today. Because when a minting machine strikes a coin, the process must be perfectly aligned and precisely timed, yet occasionally something goes wrong. A die shifts slightly. Debris interferes with the strike, a blank planchet enters the press incorrectly, or the die itself develops cracks or breaks. And each of those possibilities can create a unique mint error that collectors recognize as a genuine production mistake rather than post-mint damage, which is why coin enthusiasts and roll hunters constantly examine Lincoln pennies from the 1980s hoping to discover something extraordinary hiding among ordinary change. And the 1986 cent has become especially interesting because it was produced during a period when copper-plated zinc planchets were being used, a composition that sometimes revealed striking abnormalities, plating disruptions, and other unusual characteristics that could dramatically change the appearance and rarity of a coin. And when those unusual characteristics appear together with strong visual evidence of a mint error, the result can be a coin that stands out immediately to experienced collectors who know exactly what to look for. One of the most talked about possibilities involving the 1986 Lincoln cent is the double die error, a phenomenon that occurs when the coin die receives multiple misaligned impressions from the hub during the die creation process, creating visible doubling in the date, lettering, or design elements. And when that doubling is strong enough to be clearly seen without magnification, it becomes highly desirable among collectors because it proves that the error occurred during the official minting process rather than after the coin entered circulation, and some doubled die coins throughout American coin history have sold for astonishing amounts of money because they are both visually dramatic and extremely rare. And when people speculate about a 1986 Lincoln cent approaching values as high as $20 million, they are usually imagining an example that combines an extreme double die variety with exceptional mint state preservation and extremely low surviving population. Another possibility that collectors watch for is an off-center strike, which happens when the blank planchet is not properly positioned within the striking chamber when the dies come together, causing part of the design to be missing while another portion remains fully visible. And if the date remains readable, while the strike is dramatically off-center, the coin can become highly collectible because it clearly demonstrates a striking error that occurred at the mint. And collectors appreciate off-center coins because each one is visually unique and provides clear evidence of how minting machines sometimes produce unexpected results. Broad strike errors are another category that fascinates collectors because they occur when a coin is struck without the restraining collar that normally forms the rim, allowing the metal to spread outward and produce a coin with a wider diameter and softer edges. And when a broad-struck coin still shows strong design details and original luster, it becomes an attractive piece for error coin enthusiasts who enjoy studying the mechanics of mint production. Yet another unusual possibility is the wrong planchet strike, a situation where the design of a Lincoln cent is accidentally struck on a blank intended for a completely different coin denomination. And although such errors are extremely rare, they are among the most dramatic mistakes that can happen at the mint, because the resulting coin instantly reveals that something unusual occurred during production. And collectors have long been fascinated by coins struck on the wrong metal or wrong size planchet because they provide undeniable evidence of a manufacturing anomaly. Clipped planchet errors are also well known among collectors and can appear as smooth, curved sections missing from the edge of a coin, usually caused when the blank metal strip used to punch coin blanks overlaps an already punched area, leaving a crescent-shaped clip on the resulting planchet. And when such a clipped blank enters the striking press, the coin receives the design while still retaining that missing section, creating a distinctive appearance that error collectors recognize immediately. Die cracks and cut errors are another group of minting anomalies that sometimes develop after a die has been used repeatedly for thousands of strikes. Because metal fatigue can cause the die to fracture or break, producing raised lines or blobs of metal on the struck coin where the broken die allowed extra metal to flow. And some cut errors can become quite dramatic when large sections of the die break away, creating thick raised areas along the edge of the coin that look almost like melted metal, and collectors enjoy studying these because they illustrate the life cycle of a coin die and how small cracks can eventually develop into major breaks. Rotated die errors are also an intriguing possibility for coins like the 1986 Lincoln cent, and this happens when the obverse and reverse dies are not perfectly aligned, resulting in the reverse design appearing rotated when the coin is flipped vertically. And although slight rotations are fairly common, extreme rotations are much more unusual and can make a coin stand out to collectors who appreciate mechanical minting oddities. Strike-through errors offer another fascinating window into the minting process because they occur when foreign materials such as grease, cloth fibers, or debris becomes trapped between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving an impression or missing detail on the finished coin that reveals the presence of that obstruction during the moment of impact. And these errors can vary widely in appearance depending on the size and shape of the material involved, which makes them interesting to collectors who enjoy examining unusual surface patterns that occurred during production. While all of these potential mint errors already make the 1986 Lincoln cent an exciting coin to study, the factor that can elevate any coin into the highest levels of collector demand is condition, because coins that survive with nearly perfect surfaces, strong strike details, and vibrant original red luster are far more difficult to find than heavily circulated examples, and when a coin from 1986 remains in pristine mint state condition decades after it was produced, it can attract significant attention from collectors who compete to acquire the finest known examples for their collections. And this is why professional grading services play such an important role in the coin market today, because they authenticate coins, evaluate their condition, and assign grades that help collectors understand how rare a particular example may be within the surviving population. And if a dramatic mint error were discovered on a 1986 Lincoln cent that also achieved one of the highest possible grading levels, the combination of rarity, visual impact, and elite preservation could push the coin into an extraordinary category of desirability that inspires collectors to compete aggressively at auctions or private sales. And this is exactly how stories of multi-million-dollar coins are born, because when rarity and demand intersect, the value of a coin can climb far beyond what anyone expected for a simple piece of pocket change, which is why enthusiasts continue searching through rolls of pennies from banks, examining old coin jars, and carefully studying every Lincoln cent they encounter, hoping that one day they might uncover a rare variety or mint error that transforms a 1-cent coin into a remarkable collectible. And the 1986 Lincoln cent serves as a perfect reminder that even modern coins can carry hidden potential, because every coin tells a story about the moment it was created, the machines that struck it, and the small imperfections that sometimes slip through the minting process. And those imperfections are exactly what turn ordinary coins into fascinating pieces of history. So the next time you come across a 1986 penny in your pocket change or a roll of cents from the bank, take a moment to examine it carefully. Look at the date. Inspect the lettering, study the rim and the overall shape of the coin, because the smallest detail could reveal something unusual. And while most coins will always remain worth just 1 cent, the rare exception with a dramatic mint error and outstanding condition could become the kind of discovery that collectors dream about. A tiny copper-colored coin with a story powerful enough to capture the attention of the entire numismatic community, and potentially reach values approaching the incredible figure of $20 million, proving once again that sometimes the most extraordinary treasures are hiding in the places people least expect. Next, the 1988 1-cent coin, A coin that at first glance appears completely ordinary but under the right conditions and with the right mint-made characteristics has been associated with astonishing collector interest and extraordinary theoretical valuations that can reach as high as $17 million when the rarest combination of errors, preservation, and collector demand come together. The 1988 Lincoln cent was struck during a period when the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies for circulation, meaning most people never paid attention to them and treated them as the most common coins in daily commerce, yet history has repeatedly shown that even during years of massive production, unexpected minting anomalies can slip through quality control and create rare varieties that collectors actively hunt for decades later. The possibility that a simple 1988 penny could command enormous value comes from the combination of mint errors, die varieties, and unusual striking conditions that transform a standard circulation coin into a rare collectible artifact. One of the most fascinating possibilities connected with the 1988 penny involves the well-known transitional design element related to the reverse of the coin, where the initials of the designer near the Lincoln Memorial can appear in a rare configuration depending on which reverse die was used during production. When a coin is struck with a reverse die not typically intended for that year's standard production sequence, it creates a subtle but extremely important difference that specialists immediately recognize, and collectors often pay extraordinary premiums for these transitional die pairings because they represent a moment in minting history where two different design generations overlapped. Another powerful factor that can elevate the value of a 1988 Lincoln cent is the presence of dramatic doubled die characteristics. Doubled die errors occur during the die creation process when the working die receives more than one impression from the hub at slightly different alignments, creating visible doubling on letters, numbers, or design elements. When such doubling appears strongly on inscriptions like Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date itself, it becomes a feature that collectors search for intensely because it is not damaged or wear but a genuine mint-created variety. On a 1988 cent, a strong double die paired with exceptional preservation could dramatically increase collector demand and lead to extreme auction competition among numismatists eager to secure a rare variety for their collections. Off-center strikes represent another dramatic mint error that can occur when the blank planchet is not perfectly aligned within the striking collar when the dies come together. Instead of the design appearing perfectly centered, part of the design may be missing while the remaining portion is sharply struck, producing a visually striking error coin. If a 1988 Lincoln cent were struck significantly off-center while still showing a full readable date, that coin could instantly become a highly desirable collectible because collectors value both the dramatic visual impact and the clear identification of the coin's year. Broad strike errors also play a role in the rare coin marketplace. A broad strike occurs when a coin is struck outside of the retaining collar that normally shapes the edge of the coin, allowing the metal to expand outward beyond its normal diameter. This produces a coin that appears larger and flatter than normal, with distorted rims and stretched design elements. A 1988 cent with a dramatic broad strike combined with other mint anomalies could become a centerpiece era coin for advanced collectors who specialize in unusual striking events. Die cracks and die breaks are additional mint-created features that can transform a standard penny into a collectible curiosity. Over time, dies used in the minting process endure enormous pressure as they strike thousands of coins, and eventually microscopic fractures can form within the steel. When these fractures expand, they produce raised lines or irregular shapes on the coins struck afterward. In extreme cases, a large piece of the die may break away entirely, creating what collectors call a cut error, where a blob-like raised area appears on the coin where the die was missing material. A 1988 Lincoln cent displaying a significant cut or dramatic die break can attract strong collector interest because it documents a specific moment when the minting equipment experienced structural fatigue yet continued producing coins. Another possibility that can push a coin's value into extraordinary territory is the presence of a wrong planchet error. This occurs when a coin intended for one denomination is accidentally struck on a blank planchet meant for another coin. If a 1988 Lincoln cent were struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination such as a dime or foreign coinage blank, the result would be a fascinating hybrid error that immediately attracts the attention of collectors and professional grading services. Because wrong planchet errors are rare and easily authenticated through weight and metal composition analysis, they often command significant premiums in auctions. Die rotation errors represent another unusual mint anomaly worth examining. Normally, the obverse and reverse of a United States coin are aligned in a specific orientation so that when the coin is flipped vertically, the opposite side appears upright. If a die rotates accidentally within the press, coins struck afterward may display unusual alignment where the reverse appears sideways or upside down relative to the obverse. A dramatically rotated 1988 Lincoln cent can become a desirable collectible because it visually demonstrates a mechanical misalignment during the minting process. Clipped planchet errors also play an important role in the world of collectible mint mistakes. These occur during the blanking process when the metal strip feeding the blanking press overlaps incorrectly, producing coins that are missing a curved section along the edge. A 1988 cent with a clear curved clip and visible metal flow patterns around the clipped area can be highly collectible, especially when the rest of the coin remains well struck and identifiable. Another fascinating error type that can appear on coins like the 1988 Lincoln cent is a lamination error. Lamination errors occur when impurities or structural weaknesses exist within the metal strip used to produce planchets. During the striking process, the metal may split or peel away, leaving a portion of the coin partially detached or flaked. These errors are visually dramatic and serve as a reminder that even the raw metal used for coin production can contain hidden imperfections that reveal themselves during minting. When collectors imagine the possibility of a $17,001,988 penny, they are not thinking of a typical circulation coin that has passed through thousands of hands over decades. Instead, they envision the rare scenario where a coin possesses a perfect combination of factors including an extremely rare mint error, flawless preservation, certified authenticity by professional grading services, and intense competition among collectors eager to own a once-in-a-generation discovery. Condition plays a crucial role in determining the ultimate value of any collectible coin. Coins graded in pristine mint state condition with full original luster, sharp strike details, and no signs of wear are far rarer than coins that have circulated for years. If a rare error variety from 1988 were discovered in near-perfect condition, its scarcity could multiply dramatically because most coins with unusual errors often enter circulation where they accumulate before being noticed. Collector psychology also contributes significantly to record-setting coin values. When a coin represents a unique, or nearly unique example of a known error, collectors may compete aggressively during auctions to secure the piece for their personal collections or institutional holdings. The excitement surrounding such bidding wars can push final sale prices far beyond typical market expectations, especially when the coin becomes widely publicized as a once-in-a-lifetime find. The legend of a $17,001,988 penny therefore reflects the combined influence of rarity, historical intrigue, minting anomalies, and the passionate pursuit of collectors who dedicate years to searching for extraordinary pieces hidden among ordinary coins. What makes the story even more exciting is the possibility that many people still have jars, coin rolls, or forgotten pocket change where rare varieties may remain undiscovered. Every year, collectors report surprising discoveries made while examining everyday coins with magnification and careful attention to detail. A simple penny that once bought a piece of candy decades ago could suddenly reveal subtle doubling, unusual die markers, or striking anomalies that turn it into a prized collectible. That sense of discovery fuels the entire hobby of coin collecting and inspires enthusiasts around the world to study even the most common coins with curiosity and patience. The 1988 Lincoln cent reminds us that minting technology, while highly advanced, is still a mechanical process subject to small imperfections and unexpected variations. These variations create the fascinating diversity that keeps numismatics exciting and ensures that even the smallest denomination coin can hold extraordinary stories. Whether the error involves a transitional reverse design, a dramatic double die, an off-center strike, a wrong planchet, a die break, or any combination of these unusual events, each anomaly represents a moment when the minting process briefly deviated from perfection and produced something unique. For collectors and researchers, studying these anomalies provides insight into how coins are manufactured and how rare varieties emerge within massive production runs. The possibility that a single 1988 penny with the right combination of rare features could theoretically reach a valuation approaching $17 million serves as a powerful reminder that value in the world of collectibles is not determined by face value but by rarity, demand, and the stories hidden within the metal itself. Every coin has a journey from the moment molten metal becomes a blank planchet to the instant the dies strike its design, and sometimes that journey produces a small but remarkable difference that transforms an ordinary cent into an object of fascination, study, and extraordinary value. Next, the 2005 1-cent coin, which, under extremely rare circumstances involving unusual mint errors and striking anomalies, has been discussed among collectors as having a potential value reaching an astonishing $13 million when the right combination of rarity, condition, and mint mistake appears together on a single coin. And while most 2005 Lincoln cents are only worth their face value of 1 cent, a tiny number of examples have shown unusual characteristics that make experts stop and take a closer look, because sometimes the smallest production mistake at the United States Mint can transform an ordinary pocket coin into an extraordinary collectible that attracts global interest from numismatists, dealers, and serious coin investors. And one of the biggest reasons the 2005 penny can reach such unbelievable value is the possibility of dramatic minting errors that occurred during the coin striking process at the Denver Mint, where the D mint mark identifies its origin, and collectors constantly search through rolls of pennies hoping to discover rare examples displaying doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, die clashes, planchet errors, or even transitional metal anomalies that were never meant to leave the mint facility. Because when these mistakes happen, they create coins that are technically unique historical artifacts representing a moment when the precision of modern minting briefly failed, and among the most talked about possibilities. With the 2005 cent is the dramatic double die error where parts of the design appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the hubbing process used to create the coin dies. And when a double die occurs on key design elements such as the date, the word liberty, or the motto "I in God we trust," collectors immediately recognize the potential rarity because double die coins are some of the most famous and valuable varieties in American coin history, and when such doubling is strong, clearly visible, and combined with an uncirculated condition coin, the value can rise dramatically as collectors compete to obtain a specimen that represents a rare production mistake. But doubled dies are only one possibility, because the 2005 cent could also exhibit dramatic off-center striking errors where the coin blank was not properly aligned with the striking dies, resulting in a coin whose design appears shifted toward one side, leaving a blank crescent-shaped area, and depending on the percentage of the off-center strike and whether the date remains visible, these coins can become highly desirable among collectors who specialize in mint error coins, and sometimes these off-center strikes can reach extremely high premiums when the coin remains in exceptional condition. And another fascinating possibility involves broad strike errors where the collar that normally holds the coin in shape during striking fails to engage, allowing the metal to spread outward, creating a larger than normal coin with a distorted rim. And broad strikes on Lincoln cents are particularly interesting because they dramatically change the appearance of the coin while preserving the full design, which makes them visually striking and collectible. And collectors also watch closely for die crack and die break errors on the 2005 penny because over time the immense pressure used during coin striking can cause the steel dies themselves to fracture, producing raised lines or unusual shapes on the coin surface. And in rare cases a major die break known as a cud can appear when a piece of the die actually breaks away, leaving a large raised blob of metal on the struck coin, and these dramatic die failures can create coins that look completely different from standard issues, turning them into highly collectible mint error pieces that many specialists actively seek. And beyond these striking anomalies there is also the possibility of planchet errors which occur before the coin is even struck, such as clipped planchets where part of the metal blank is missing due to a punching error, or wrong planchet strikes where a penny design is accidentally struck on a blank meant for another denomination. And while extremely rare, such mistakes can command enormous interest within the numismatic community because they represent an unusual crossover between different coin production processes. And when collectors talk about a 2005 penny potentially reaching the extraordinary value of $13 million, they are usually imagining a perfect storm scenario where multiple rare characteristics combine together in one coin, such as a dramatic double die paired with an off-center strike, or a unique transitional planchet error discovered in pristine mint state condition. Because the coin collecting world has always shown that rarity plus condition plus a fascinating story can create unbelievable market results, and history has proven many times that coins once dismissed as ordinary pocket change later became legendary rarities once collectors realized how few actually existed, and this is why coin hunters around the world constantly examine their pennies carefully, especially modern coins that many people ignore. Because even in recent years rare mint errors have surfaced from circulation decades after the coins were originally released. Often discovered by someone simply searching through a roll of pennies from a bank, or a jar of change sitting forgotten in a drawer, and when it comes to the 2005 Lincoln cent, careful inspection is essential because some errors may be subtle at first glance, requiring magnification to reveal small doubling, tiny die cracks, or unusual surface textures that indicate a striking problem occurred during production, and serious collectors often use magnifying tools, digital microscopes, and reference guides to compare their coins with documented varieties to determine whether they may have discovered something unusual. And the excitement surrounding coins like the 2005 cent comes from the idea that valuable discoveries can still happen today, even with coins produced in the modern era when minting technology is highly advanced, because despite sophisticated machinery, the minting process still involves incredible pressures and thousands of moving parts, meaning occasional mistakes are inevitable. And each of those mistakes has the potential to create a coin that stands apart from millions of normal examples, and over time, as collectors search and catalog these varieties, the rarest pieces begin to develop legendary status within the hobby, sometimes reaching astonishing price levels when they appear at major auctions or private sales between elite collectors. And the possibility that a simple 1-cent coin could theoretically reach $13 million captures the imagination of collectors everywhere because it reminds us that hidden value can exist in the most unexpected places. And while not every 2005 penny will be rare or valuable, the search itself is part of the excitement that drives the coin collecting community forward, inspiring people to examine their change more carefully and learn about the fascinating world of mint errors, die varieties, and historical coin production techniques. And each time someone discovers a new or unusual coin variety, it adds another chapter to the ongoing story of American numismatics, proving that even the smallest coin can hold an incredible story waiting to be uncovered by the right person at the right moment.